we're back after a short break. We're starting season 4. This is episode 1, overall episode 86. I'm Tom Betts, your host, and today we're going to cover history of the spaghetti westerns. We're going to talk about Gunfight at Red Sands, whatever became of the wonderful Loredana Nusiak. Who are those guys? Giovanni Pazzafini. Film of the week is I Want Him Dead with Craig Hill. We've got a CD and LP of the week, autograph of the week, book of the week, and we'll finish up with news, the weekly news. So let's get started. In our continuations episode of the history of the spaghetti western, we're going to talk about Gunfight at Red Sands. This is one of the early pre-Leone westerns by a year. It was made in 1963. It was an Italian-Spanish co-production with Jolly Film and Tessisa. Jolly was out of Rome and Tessisa was out of Madrid. The Italian title is Duello nel Texas. The Spanish title is El Gringo. In the UK, they just called it Gringo. Also, they called it Gunfight in the Red Sands, and we call it here in the US Gunfight at Red Sands. The director was Richard Blasco. Real name is Ricardo Laguna. Story was by Jay Prindle, which is James Prindle. Screenplay was by Alfredo Antonini, who's also known as Albert Band. Richard Blasco, whose real name is Ricardo Laguna, as I mentioned before. Cinematography was by Jack Dalmas, which in reality is Massimino Dallamano. It was in Technicolor and Technoscope. Music was by Dan/Leon Savio, who's in reality Ennio Morricone, using a pseudonym. The song A Gringo Like Me was sung by Dickie Jones. Also a song in there, in the film itself, was Gringo, which was sung by Michaela, and we'll talk about her when we do the profiles. Anyways, leading actors were Ricardo Gringo Martinez. Martinez was played by Richard Harrison. Sheriff Lance Corbett was played by G.R. Stewart. Don Diego or Manuel Martinez was played by Dan Martin. Lisa Martinez was played by Sarah Lizana. Maria or Helene Huertos was played by Michaela. Don Esteban was played by Alfonso Rojas. Lou Stedman was played by Barta Berry. Also in the cast was Aldo Sambrell, Rafael Vaquero, Zandas Bolas. Those should be some recognizable names from the genre. The story goes as such. In Carterville, a small U.S. border town, lives a family of Mexicans made up of Don Diego and his children Manuel, played by Dan Martin, and Lisa, played by Sarah Lizana. Also living with them is Ricardo, played by Richard Harrison, a young American orphan adopted by Diego, who they nicknamed Gringo. One night, 3 masked figures attack the farm, killing Diego, and looting the ranch house. They find several bags of gold he has collected over the years of hard work. Gringo now seeks to discover the true identity of the criminals who have terrorized the entire area for years. They turn out to be Sheriff Corbett, played by Giacomo Rossi Stewart, Stedman, played by Barta Berry, the owner of the saloon, and a Mexican horse trader named Guardo, played by Aldo Sambrell. Stedman, filled with remorse, flees but is killed accidentally by the sheriff. Only Gringo stands against the gang and succeeds with his cunning and courage to rid them from the country. Overview of the film. The opening buckboard ride from Diego's ranch to Carterville with the opening song Gringo Like Me playing in the background is unforgettable. The music is credited to Dan or Leon Savio, which is a pseudonym for Ennio Morricone, and this first drew Leone's attention when Sergio heard the score. Richard Harrison was contacted also because of this film by Sergio Leone and offered the role of the man with no name, but Harrison had committed to making $100,000 for Ringo, and according to Richard, he's the one who recommended Clint Eastwood for the role of the man with no name. This is one of the first two European westerns to place the action in a U.S.-Mexico border town, which became a mainstay of the genre. The first showdown, or the final showdown between Gringo and Sheriff Corbett, is particularly well directed and easily fits into any post-Leone Western format. Dramatically framed, the drawn out to maximum effect with Giacomo Rossi Stewart performing some grotesque death throes is a classic. Look for these goofs if you watch the film or remember seeing it. When Sheriff Corbett helps Lisa load her packages from the general store onto her wagon, a truck can be seen driving between buildings in the background. Probably easier seen on the big screen than on TV or DVD, but it's there. Another goof is modern dollar bills are seen being used in the poker game. My final summation on the film is this is a must-see for anyone interested in the genre, as it comes the closest to opening the doors to the new way of making westerns in style, characters, and direction and music. Okay, some of the actor profiles are Ricardo Gringo Martinez was played by Richard Harrison. Richard Harrison Jr. was born on May 26, 1935, and he just celebrated his 87th birthday. For more information on Richard, Jay and I did an entire episode on him, number 62. Jose Guardo is played by Aldo Sambrell. Alfredo Sanchez Brel was born in 1931 and he died in 2010. For more information on him, see episode number 60, which we did a complete episode on him also. Sheriff Lance Corbett is played by G.R. Stewart. Giacomo Rossi Stewart was born on August 25, 1925, in Todi, Umbria, Italy, and was often credited as Jack Stewart. As a youth, he was an accomplished athlete who participated in the pentathlon, but his priorities changed when he discovered acting and ended up appearing in over 100 films and TV appearances as a supporting and sometimes leading man. Stewart appeared in 12 spaghetti westerns. He is the father of Kim Rossi Stewart, Valentina Rossi Stewart, and Loretta Rossi Stewart. Giacomo died in Rome on October 20, 1994, at the age of 69. Don Diego, or Manuel Martinez, was played by Dan Martin. Josan Daniel Martinez Martinez was born on May 12, 1935, in Cartagena, Murcia, Spain. He appeared in some 90 films and TV appearances from 1961 to 2002. 26 of those were spaghetti westerns. He was married to actress Sarah Lizana. And Teresa Martinez was Martinez. He was the father of a daughter. He's probably best remembered as Julio in Fistful of Dollars. Martinez died in Zaragoza, Spain on September 28, 2009 at the age of 74. Lisa Martinez was played by Sarah Lizana. Sarita Lizana Minguez was born in Madrid on March 5, 1948. She was a flamenco dancer as well as a film and TV actress who appeared in only 21 films and TV appearances. She appeared in only 3 spaghetti westerns. She was married to Daniel Martin and both appeared in this film as brother and sister. Maria or Helene Huertas was played by Michaela. Michaela Rodriguez Cuesta was born in Sevilla, Andalusia, Spain on June 19, 1935. She was a singer, musician, and film actress who appeared in only 16 films and TV appearances, 3 of which were spaghetti westerns. She is the mother of journalist Michaela Vergara. Michaela died in Madrid on March 29, 1991 at the age of 55. Last but not least is Don Esteban, played by Alfonso Rojas. Alfonso Angel Rojas Gonzalez was born in Jerez de la Frontera in Cadiz, Andalusia, Spain on March 5, 1916. He appeared in over 85 films and TV series between 1951 and 2004. As a regular participant in the spaghetti western genre, he appeared in 37 of them. Rojas died in Madrid on January 20th, 1996. He was 79 years old. Okay, that does it for the history of the spaghetti western. Let's move on to our whatever became of Loredana Nusiak. Loredana Capellita was born in Trieste, Italy on May 3rd, 1942. At 17 and still attending Petrarca High School, she was convinced by a local photographer to enter the Miss Trieste Beauty Contest of 1959. She says she was shaking with fear but won the title and her life was changed. She then became a model and made her first film appearance under her real name in 1960's Colossus and the Amazon Queen as Amazone. She changed her birth name to Loredana Nusiak in 1964 when she appeared in her 12th film, Les Begiers. She'd go on to appear in 30 films, 6 of which were spaghetti westerns. She also appeared on TV and commercials for Carousel. I can find out no information of why she changed her name or chose that name. In 1965, she met actor Gianni Medici, and the two were married. In 1976, she left the world of cinema and devoted the next decade making photonovellas with Medici as director. In 1986, she returned and made her final TV appearance in Yesterday, Vacanza al Mare. She then dropped out of public view. She developed cancer and died in her hometown of Trieste on July 12, 2006. Her 6 spaghetti westerns were as Maria in Django, of course, her probably most notable role in 1965. Also in 65, she played the role of Vivienne Barrett in The Man from Canyon City, billed as Lore Nusiak. In 66, she played Emily in $7 to Kill. 67, in another memorable role, she played Mijanu in $10,000 for a Massacre with Gianni Garco. In 68, she played Clara or Ann Bauer in Revenge for Revenge. And in 1969, her final spaghetti, she played Gladys Clayton or Gladys Martin in God Will Forgive My Pistol. And that does it for whatever became of Luciana Nusiak. Now we'll turn our attention to who are those guys and Giovanni Nello Pazzafini. Giovanni Pazzafini was born in Ustia district of Rome on May 15, 1934. As a young man, he carried out a large number of activities, including as a soccer player and lifeguard. It was while he was carrying out his profession that he was noticed and introduced into the world of cinema. He became a part of the Roman character actors after he attended the first Italian stunt school held in 1958 and trained by an American stunt coordinator and master of arms. We'll touch on that in a few minutes. In the mythological sword and sandal genre, at 6'3" tall, he was a perfect stunt performer in the fight scenes against the taller American actors. His bronze features and his characteristic hard and evil face made him the perfect antagonist against the film's hero. He was billed under several pseudonyms such as Nello Pazzafini, John Kerry, Red Carter, Ted Carter, Giovanni Pazzafin, Ned Steinberg, and Nat Williams. Pazzafini's film career encompassed over 200 films and TV appearances. He can be seen in aforementioned sword and sandal films, spaghetti westerns, where he made 43 of them, and then crime films, finishing his career in the 1980s, appearing in TV series. Nello was married to a woman named Cesarino and had a daughter named Laura, who's on Facebook. He then retired and died in Rome on November 27, 1997. At his funeral, a large contingent of his fellow actors from Cinecittà, including Giuliana Gemma, attended. To pay homage to him, Steve Della Casa dedicated an entire episode of the RA Radio 3 Hollywood Party program in his memory. I tried to find more information about this stunt school and who this American director was. I contacted everybody I could think of that was an author or historian in the genre, including people that we've interviewed: Howard Hughes, Lee Broughton, uh, Kevin Grant, Fabio Malelli. I couldn't. His daughter doesn't speak English, so I had Fabio contact her through a Facebook message, and she didn't know anything about this guy. I contacted Alberto Dell'Acqua, didn't get a reply. I contacted Larry Anderson, didn't get a reply. I put a request on the Peplin Paradise. No one knew who he was. Finally, Bill Connolly came through with an article he ran across years ago and gave it to me, which says that Eroi Cinecittà, Franco Mariotti wrote, "It is the period of the rebirth of Cinecittà when authors such as Mervyn LeRoy, William Wyler, and Robert Weiss discovered the Hollywood on the Tiber, where it was financially viable to film. The first film rolled out was Robert Weiss's Helen of Troy in 1954, starring Jacques Cernus and Rosanna Podesta. Mr. Handa, H-A-N-D-A, an American, started off our own line of stuntmen, teaching them how to fall without hurting themselves and how to take blows with clubs and swords while miming the body movements of the victims. The first Italian stuntmen were Anacleto Faciolo, who is known as Er Faciolo in the Roman dialect, Fausto Signoretti, Romano Gaspari, and Black Massetti, Gigi Schiavaro, the Zamperla brothers, both coming from circus backgrounds, the Campana brothers, Alfredo Danesi, Sergio Casade, Benito Stefanelli, and later on his son Marco, Attilio Severini, the amazing diver, and Gino Marano, who was able to throw himself off a flaming 10-meter building. One of the best-known names and faces is that of Franco Fantasia, who has played in over 80 films, a sword fighter who was tried and tested at the school started by Enzo Musumeci, who formed the famous group of stuntmen known as the Musumeci team. Bill says, I can find no Mr. Handa in the credits of Helen of Troy, but I do find Yakima Canut, of whom I had previously read taught Italians how to do horse falls, and this was in Ben-Hur in 1958. So thanks, Bill, for coming through with that, but the Mr. Handa still is a mystery to us. Some of Nello's well-known roles were in Adios Gringo in 1965, where he plays Gil Clausen, billed as Ted Carter, Blood for a Silver Dollar in 1965 as a henchman, billed as Peter Surtees, The Big Gun Down in 1966 as Hondo, billed as Nello Pazzafini, Fort Yuma Gold in 1967, he plays Sergeant Brian Pitt as Red Carter, The Man from Nowhere 1966 as Kay or Clay as Nello Pazzafini, Face to Face in 1967 as Vance as Nello Pazzafini, Run Man Run in 1967 as Riza, Find a Place to Die in 1968 as Fernando as Red Ted Carter, A Long Ride from Hell in 1968, Bill Savage as Ted Carter, The Ballad of Ben and Charlie in 1971 plays George Butch Quarry. In 1972, he shows up as It Can Be Done Amigo. 1973, he plays Gorilla in Another Try A Providence, and in 1977, he plays a Valor henchman billed as Ted Carter in A Man Called Blade. His final film, billed under his own name, was in 1984 in Arapahoe. So that does it for whatever became of Nello Pazzafini. Now we turn to our film of the week. This is one of the my favorite films of the genre. It's a small gem called I Want Him Dead, starring Craig Hill. The Italian title is Lo Voglio Morto. The Spanish title is Lo Quiero Muerto. And again, the English title, I Want Him Dead. Director is Paolo Bianchi, real name Paolo Bianchini. Story and screenplay are by Carlos Arabia. Cinematography is by Ricardo Andro. It's an Eastman in widescreen. Music is by Nico Fidenko, whose real name is Dominic Colarosi. And the song sung in the beginning is Clayton, sung by Lita Lou. Cast consists of Craig Hill in the role of Clayton. Leah Massari plays Aloma. Jose Manuel Martin plays Jack Blood. Andrea Bosick plays the lead villain Malik. Licia Calderon plays Marisol. She's also known as Maria and Marissa. Rick Boyd appears as Steve. Francisco Brana plays Berger. Jose Terron plays Logan. Francisco Nieto is the bartender. And a Confederate soldier is played by Barta Berry, whose real name is Barnaby Berry. The story goes as such. With the Civil War winding down, Clayton, played by Craig Hill, a cowboy, goes to see an old friend to buy his farm. The transaction was to be settled in Southern currency, but the Confederacy losing the war, it's now worthless. Meanwhile, Clayton's sister, Marisol, played by Christina Busanari, who is staying in a nearby hotel, is killed by two outlaws. When Clayton returns to the hotel, he finds her body in the hotel room. With no help from the local sheriff, he goes in search of the killers. He traces them to a local ranch, and there he finds two young women, Aloma, played by Leah Massari, and Marisol, played by Licia Calderon, basically kept as slaves to serve a group of bandits. In helping the two women, he finds out one has overheard a conversation that Malik, played by Andrea Bosick, the leader of the gang, is a supplier of arms to the Southern cause, and all of his assets are invested in continuing the war. An unexpected meeting between two senior officers from the North and South to negotiate peace endangers the whole deal. Malik, then promising a reward of $100,000 for his band if they disrupt the meeting. One of the women, Marisol, is killed while the other, Aloma, rides off with Clayton. Clayton manages to stop the disaster, and after killing the murderers of Marisol, he also discovers that Malik and the rest of the gang have killed each other over the $100,000 reward. Clayton, along with Aloma, collect the money and return to buy the ranch. In an overview, one of the best songs of the genre is heard over the opening credits, which introduced the audience to our hero and his sister riding through the desert. It's called Clayton, and it's sung by Lita Lou. The scene where Clayton and his sister are sitting around a campfire and he sees the bandit sneaking up behind him by a reflection in his coffee cup is pure spaghetti western. The rape scene of Clayton's sister is implied, and Clayton's response by killing a big-mouth saloon patron named Logan, played by Jose Terron, is well done. Logan turns out to be the sheriff's brother. This entire scene sets the mood of Craig Hill through the rest of the film. The twist at the end of the film is reminiscent of Johnny Hume, and I won't give it away. For me, this is Hill's best spaghetti western. It's full of suspense, action, stunts, and an underlying love story that never goes overboard. Director Paolo Bianchi holds everything together, and Clayton's revenge against Malik and his henchmen is enjoyable. Another well-done small gem of the genre. If you haven't seen it, do so. If you have seen it, see it again. In actors' profiles, we have Clayton, played by Craig Hill. Craig Hill Fowler was born in Los Angeles, California on March 5, 1926, and died in Barcelona, Spain on April 21, 2014. He appeared in 17 spaghetti westerns. You can find out more info on Craig in episode number 39, which Jay and I dedicated to him. Aloma is played by Leah Massari. Anna Maria Massari. Real name is Anna Maria Massatani was born in Rome on June 30th, 1933. She studied to become an architect, but turned to film, where she is a writer, cameraman, film, and TV actress who has appeared in 60 films and TV appearances. She has been married to an ex-airline pilot named Carlo Bianchini since 1963. This is her only spaghetti western. I think Carlo is related to the director Paolo. Jacques Blood was played by Jose Manuel Martin. He was born in May 24th, 1924 in Casa Viejo, Alvilla, Castilla y León, Spain, and died in Spain at the age of 82 on April 12, 2006. He appeared in 33 spaghetti westerns. You can learn more about him in episode 73 that Jay and I did about his entire career. Malik is played by Andrea Bosic. Ignacio Andrea Bosic was born in Gomilsko, Maribor, Yugoslavia, on August 15, 1919. He appeared in 65 films and TV series, 13 of which were spaghetti westerns. He's probably best remembered as hotel owner Abel Murray in 1967's Day of Anger, with Lee Van Cleef and Juliana Gemma. He died in Bologna, Italy on January 8, 2012 at the age of 92. Marisol, or Maria, and Marisa was played by Leah Calderon. Alicia Palacios Calderon was born in Alicante, Spain on November 5, 1933. For more information, see episode number 83, where we profile her in her only other spaghetti western, 1962's The Terrible Sheriff. And that does it for our film of the week. Now we turn to autograph of the week. Autograph of the week is Bill Ramsey. You want to say, who in the heck is Bill Ramsey? Well, Bill Ramsey was an American born in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1935. He died in 2021, and he was a singer-musician who went to Germany after World War II and stayed, and he appears in one German Western called Apache's Last Battle. That's the first Winnetou film, and he plays the part of a piano player. Okay, next we turn to Book of the Week. Okay, Book of the Week. It's brand new. It's Las Rutas del Western en Cataluña y Aragon, and it's by our friend Javier Ramos Altamira. This is a book on spaghetti western locations in Catalunya and Aragon. Most people think the films of the spaghetti westerns basically were filmed in Almeria, but over 50 of them were filmed in northern Spain. It contains 179 pages. It's in Spanish, but it's easy to read, and it contains lots of pictures. It contains GPS coordinates, contains maps, pictures, and drawings. And it's a follow-up to his original book on spaghetti locations in northern Spain, and it's a must-have for any spaghetti western fan or collector. Okay, and it just came out on June 1st, and I just got my copy last week, so look for it. It should be available on Amazon Spain. Okay, that'll do that for that. We'll go turn now to CD of the week. Okay, CD of the week is actually an LP and an LP and a CD, and they both basically have the same cover. That's because they're released by Duse, D-U-S-E. It's Un Esercito de Five Uomini, which is the five-man army. As I said, it's on the Duse label. The LP is number ELP058. The CD is CDE76. The LP was released in 77. The CD in 94. The LP only has 8 tracks. CD has 16 tracks. Listing time on the LP is only 24 minutes and 43 seconds, where the CD is 59 minutes and 21 seconds. Depending on condition, the LP will go anywhere from $12 to $50. It's available on Discogs if you want to pick up a copy. The CD value is from $15 to $20, and it's available on Discogs, and you can find it on eBay for around $7. So that does it for the LP CD of the week. And now we'll turn to the weekly news. Okay, first thing up is in Casale, Monteferrato, Piedmont, Italy on the weekend of June 18th and 19th. An exhibition will be held at the Big Casale Comics and Games event, continuous from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. On the following weekends, it's only until July 10th. It will only be open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Admission is free, and the entrance is free. It will feature the work of Carlo Leva, who designed Sad Hill Cemetery and was an associate and assistant of Carlo Simi. A new Spanish book, which we just went over, is Las Rutas del Western in Catalona, and that's basically translated into the Western routes of Catalonia and Aragon. So we'll skip that right now and go on to the DVD releases, which there's 4 of them that came out this week. A new British Blu-ray DVD release of Kill Them All and Come Back Alone, directed by Enzo G. Castellari, and starring Chuck Connors, Frank Wolf, Franco Citi, Leo Ancaris, Ken Wood, Hercules Cortez, and Alberto Del Acqua, was released on June 6th by Studio Canal / Cult Classic Series. It's Region B with Italian and English languages, and the same for the subtitles. Running time is 100 minutes, and extras included audio commentary by Alex Cox called Shoot to Kill, Aim to Thrill, and interview by director Enzo G. Castellari. Shootouts in the Old Spaghetti West by filmmaker Romulo Guerrieri on a family and filmmaking, Italy's cult auteur of action cinema. Critical retrospective of Enzo G. Castellari, also a stills gallery. Then we have a new French Blu-ray DVD called Trois pour un massacre to Peppa, also known as Blood and Guns, directed by Giulio Petroni and starring Tomas Milian, Orson Welles, and John Steiner. It's on Artist Films, came out June 7th, contains 2 discs and is Region B. It's in CinemaScope in French and Italian languages with French subtitles and a running time of 131 minutes. Extras include an Italian trailer, photo gallery of promotional images, alternate Italian credits, an interview, a featurette called Viva la Revolucion with Giulio Petroni, and Tomas Milian, an audio interview, same as on the German Blu-ray and DVD in Italian and English subtitles. It's approximately 30 minutes. Film analysis by Jean-François Guire in French with no subtitles, and that's approximately 37 minutes. Like I said, this came out on, do I have it? Yeah, June 7th. Next, we have an Italian DVD release, I Morti Non Si Cantano, which is Dead Men Don't Count, directed by Rafael Romero Marchant and starring Anthony Stephan, Mark Damon, and Maria Martin. It's by Sinister Film. It's released on June 8th. It's in Italian and Spanish languages with Italian subtitles. Running time is 87 minutes. Last but not least, we have a German Blu-ray DVD release of Die Halle von San Sebastian, which is Guns for San Sebastian, directed by Henry Verneuil, starring Anthony Quinn, Charles Bronson, Anjanette Comer, Sam Jaffe, and Sylvia Pinal. It was released on June 10th on the Hands Sound / Soul Food label. The release contains 1 disc. It's in German with a running time of 111 minutes. And that does it for the weekly news. I want to remind you to check out Jay's The Retro Time Machine podcast. This week it comes out tomorrow, and this week he's interviewing Johnny Whitaker. It's on noon Pacific Standard Time. Until next week, adios amigos, and this was a Roberto Genesi production.